Today, the Ministry of Tourism announced that Saudi Arabia reached 135 million tourists.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's a huge
We
success.
surpassed our goal. Meet Dr. Waleed Al-Hemaidi, a veteran of the tourism and entertainment industry in Saudi Arabia. He has spent the last 20 years helping build Saudi into the world-class travel destination it is today. Was mayor of the Asir Region, which, under his leadership, won multiple awards, including the King Abdullah Excellence Award, Identity for the Arab City.
King Salman Airport.
Okay.
I would love to see how it going to be built, operated, to be the largest airport in the world. 160 gate, 6 runways. It's a huge airport. That is
So it's going to be the biggest in the world.
It is going to be the biggest in the world.
Today, we discuss the enormous investments Saudi Arabia has placed into the tourism and entertainment sector, why that's important, and how its success will help carry the country into the future. Could we ever get to a point where, in order for us to continue to fund these projects, we might have to implement an income tax on Saudi citizens?
I don't think so, because yes, what we hear from our leadership is that this will never ever happen in the future.
Okay.
And inshallah, we don't need it because we are maintaining our speed of development without needing to put this income tax.
This is not just something for fun. This is for our survival. Because, like you said, oil is a finite thing. It's going to run out one day. So getting into this entertainment industry and this tourism industry is going to be vital for our survival later on. But we're kind of doing it now before we get to a position where now we're in trouble. We don't have anything to export. We don't. So these plans are in place now for survival, basically. Yeah. I wanted to read you some headlines from some Western publications, and get your thought on this. So Bloomberg says Saudi Arabia's 100 billion tourism pitch is a tough sell to Westerners. The Guardian, another Western publication, will Western tourists really flock to a country with no alcohol? Bloomberg again, Saudi Arabia's empty skies and empty hotels, the risk in MBS's tourism push. And then finally from the Washington Post, Saudi Arabia wants to be a global tourism hub. Can it overcome its own reputation? So it's not surprising the West doesn't always shed the best light on us. But in your opinion, why do you think they still doubt us?
I don't know if it's being a big challenge. It's not. It's a huge challenge. Because the government or the Ministry of Tourism, for example, put a very high figure, 100 million to be achieved by the year 2025. Tourists.
100 million tourists.
100
by when?
million, but 2000 to 2025. 225.
225. Okay.
Yes,
So last year.
25. Yes, last year. And to jump from 15 to or 20 or 30, I don't know what year you are counting,
Right.
to a 100, that's triple time the numbers you have. That was, a huge change. But however, the ministry and the country managed to do it.
We did it.
Yes, we did it.
Right.
And we exceeded the number within that period. Today, the Ministry of Tourism announced that Saudi Arabia reached 135 million tourists.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's a huge
We
success.
surpassed our goal.
Yes, exactly. That's a huge success. And when you get a huge success, definitely people sometimes appreciate it, and other people say, well, here and there.
They'll find something wrong with it.
Exactly, negative, some point here and there. But in the end, we managed it.
We did it. Yeah.
Yes, the tourism development in Amala, the tourism development in Asir, for example, or Riyadh, with all the destination that is happening now in Riyadh, Qiddiya, name it, Qiddiya, Diriyah, Boulevard, tremendous. And in the year 2030, we're going to host the Expo,
Right.
35 World Cup.
World Cup.
That's going to be a huge boost for the whole economy, for the whole country, in front all of the world.
Right. Yeah. It definitely helped us economically, for sure, and it kind of really made people shocked about what Saudi Arabia was able to do. But another thing that I want to see if tourism and entertainment helped is, we have a population here of a lot of young Saudis. I think that the majority of them are under the age of 30. How does entertainment and tourism help that specific young generation?
Okay. Well, let's look at job opportunities. For job opportunities for the young generation, I think tourism play a major role, because you don't need to be a billionaire. You don't need to have a Ph.D. Simply, if you form a small transportation company for the transporting the tourism from one location to another location, you can do this easily. To be a tour guide, there is a workshop you need to attend, a class you need to attend, then you have the license, and then you start your business. To be employee of a hotel in the hospitality, and these are huge opportunities for young generation. And it's all these let me say, the vast majority of these jobs created by tourists and tourism industry is really aiming for the young generation who speak very good English language, open for the other cultures, and enthusiastic. And they are the young generation. They love to, and they really very good stories.
And it gives them a chance to contribute to Saudi. Because one of the things that I loved about Vision 2030, I was in the United States when they first announced it. And the beautiful thing about it is that when they announced it and they had this very ambitious goal, everybody wanted to contribute. All the Saudis loved that we're finally going to be important in the world and we're going to accomplish these things. Everyone wants to help. Entertainment and tourism gives a lot of people a chance to contribute. Because like if you look at the oil sector or the engineering, it's a very specific skill. Not everybody can go and become an engineer, but entertainment and tourism, a lot of people can come and help.
Yes.
So by investing in this industry, you're giving a lot of people an opportunity to help their country reach that 2030 vision. And now they can like lift their head high and be like, yep, I'm helping with this vision.
Yes, I agree totally, Abdulaziz. And for these people, for the young generation who participate in the tourism and entertainment, it gives them the chance to say to the rest of the world, hey, here we are. For example, Qiddiya now, with the Six Flags, and Qiddiya city as a whole, as an entertainment, sport destination, is going to be the largest entertainment center in the world.
Right.
Can you imagine this?
The whole city.
Yes. In the world, in Saudi Arabia, Al-Qiddiya, in Riyadh, the largest in the world. Really, we are making, a story, a unique story for the globe.
Yeah.
No, not just for us Saudi, but here is what is the vision. Here is how you translate the vision from a statement into reality, into something the world can come and visit, enjoy, engage in the culture, engage in the country, enjoy it, talking to the local people, talking to the young generation, try the Arabic food, try the Saudi coffee, see how the desert looks like from the Saudi angle. And this is us, this is Saudi, this is the country. And, I feel very glad, I feel very happy to see my generation the next generation and the younger generation now.
Right.
How they are, my kids, my girls and boy is between the age of 30 and 20. And to see them how they engage into the business, the job creation, how when they visit Diriyah, for example, when they visited the Six Flag in Qiddiya, when they come back and to tell me the story, happy, active, anxious, proud.
Yeah.
Very proud.
That's the word, proud.
Yes,
That's
this
the word,
is,
proud.
for me, I feel wow.
Yeah.
I really feel wow.
Yeah. The beautiful part is that, like you said, everyone is proud because this is my home and we're doing these incredible things in my home. We don't have to go to Europe or different countries to see amazing things. No, it's right down the street. You know what I mean? So it gives everybody this sense of pride, but more importantly, everyone wants to help out.
That's,
You know what I mean? So it just makes the future so exciting, especially for a young Saudi.
yes. And Abdulaziz, is not just this location or destination just around the corner. Is we are doing it to the edge, to the maximum, to the best that can be built, designed, built, operated. And this is, a challenge that is Saudi proved to the world that they managed to deliver.
We were able to, and we surpassed our goal, like you said. You were the urban planning advisor for the Royal Commission of Riyadh. So let's say we obviously already accomplished our goal of visitors, but we have more goals coming up for 2030 and the World Cup. So there's going to be a lot more people coming to Saudi. As a person with an urban planning background, can everyone fit? Is there enough room for everybody that's coming? Are we ready for these numbers?
Yes, with confidence, yes. Because, for example, if you want to host the Expo in the year 2030, you need to build certain number of hotels and provide certain number of transportation, infrastructure services for these people. And when you have this number and of the expected number of visitor, you know how many hotels you have to have. So what the Royal Commission for Riyadh City and the municipality and the Ministry of Tourism did is that they put incentives to reach to these goals so the business sector can play their role and build the required number of hotels and rooms that are needed. And these incentives can be in the form of more height, more floor space ratio, more can be financial help, can be also speed up the solving the problem of the conflict if there is conflict between two entities. So the government can and agencies can intervene to solve it. And we approved so far, yes. You can see the number of towers and hotels that under construction or almost into the business now. In Riyadh, you can see the huge transfer. And all these are really assets. Even after the Expo is finished,
you can keep using them.
Yes, you can keep using them for any global event, any regional event,
right.
The FIFA World Cup,
right.
Even beyond the World FIFA Cup. You can imagine now Riyadh City is hosting quite big number of global conferences.
Right.
Yes, and these are, bringing people from all over the world to attend the conference or the exhibition, etc. And that is a number of people are visiting Saudi using airline, airport, taxi, restaurant, hotels, etc. And that is really why what is making the economical, urban economics of Riyadh City and other cities within this plan blooming.
Right.
Alhamdulillah, we are doing tremendous.
So whatever we have coming up, we do have the infrastructure that's going to be able to handle all these numbers. Yes. What about the streets, though, when it comes to like driving in Riyadh? Everyone knows there's a big traffic deal. Are there any plans in place coming up that will maybe ease the traffic in Riyadh so that when we have Expo or when we have the World Cup, not everything becomes so hard to get somewhere? Are there anything in place for that?
You see, when you have a ambition goal to make your city one of the top 10 or 20 cities of the world with significant economical change and business, so people will come to join the business opportunity, the job creation, and that creates, tremendous demand on the public transportation, on the street, as you mentioned, on the traffic. They have to reflect. Now, what you need to do is you need to put more public transportation, more management, traffic management, upgrade the road network you have to absorb this newcomers, new numbers of visitors or local residents traveling from one place to another. And that's what is happening now in Riyadh City. For example, the metro in Riyadh is operating now in a very steady way. There is plans to upgrade the metro. There is plans now underway to upgrade the network and the main access within the city, and you can see the construction of the of the road cross sections or the road or the access, getting you from one location to another to solve the traffic jam in a certain location to make it easier. And also, of course, now we are, for example, policies, urban policies to help into this. Now, wherever there is a metro station, then the government agency allowed for more density for any development within the range of this underground station or metro station. So people do not need for a car to transport, to get from one way to another. And so there is more people around metro stations to allow them to get to the metro station, and they can use the metro station to job or visiting or university or hospital, what you have to, instead of raising the density of the residential all over the city equally. No, you do this in a careful, creative manner to reduce the traffic or the pressure on the traffic.
Right. Is the metro still in the early stages? So there's still the metro is going to expand a lot more than what it is right now.
Of course, look at London Underground system, which is yes the oldest in the world.
Right.
Until today, they are building more line, or extending lines, or building more station on the existing.
And they're old. They're old. So
yes,
they're still keeping
exactly. And there is ambitious plans how to make the Riyadh metro more effective, either building a new line like line 7 or building a new metro station within the existing lines.
Okay. Yeah. The metro has definitely helped a lot. I'm sure a lot of people are, have a lot of pressure has eased because they're able to get around more and more. But it's good to know that the metro is still going to keep going, that this is not the last thing we're going to see. We're still in the early stages.
Yes. There is no metro system in any city in the world that has been constructed once and stop.
Yeah.
It's a growth. You have to grow. The city grow, the people grow.
Yeah, more people come.
Exactly. Yeah. And even within the same city, a new business or a new building or a new hub is coming, because we're building, for example, Qiddiya. So Qiddiya need.
They're gonna get one.
Yes, we're building Riyadh Boulevard and Boulevard World and Boulevard City.
Well, they're gonna get one too.
Definitely, one time of the future we have to.
Yeah,
Because when it was planned, there was no plans for the Boulevard or the Qiddiya.
Okay.
It was the first plan, the very first plan of Riyadh Metro was 15 years ago. 15 years ago, there was no vision for that Qiddiya or...
we didn't know all this was gonna happen. Yeah.
Exactly. And after 5 years, you're going to have, a hub in the south or in the east that was not in your plan today.
Yeah.
And you have to take into account this.
Gotcha.
And a city is just like a human body. It grows.
It grows. Yeah.
Yes, it grows. It needs to breathe. It needs to have muscles. It change.
Yeah.
It's a living plant.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. My dream is for Riyadh to one day, you don't even need a car. Like I drive everywhere. I'm sure you do too. But if one day, inshallah, we get to the point where I can get to where I want to without even moving my car, that's a dream, inshallah. And I think we're gonna get there.
Yes, we will get there, inshallah. But maybe not everybody not needing a car, but at least the majority.
People love driving. That's okay. Yeah. But I think a lot of us would be okay.
I agree with you, Aziz. I agree, but inshallah we'll be there to see the street much more.
Yeah. More smoother.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there a giga project that you're excited about?
Many.
Is there one specific one that you're really just excited for it to be born, to be ready?
Yes, King Salman Airport.
Okay.
I would love to see how it going to be built, operated, to be the largest airport in the world. 160 gate, 6 runways. It's a huge airport that is
so it's going to be the biggest in the world.
It is going to be the biggest in the world.
It's going to be, from what I understand, we're still going to keep King Khalid.
King Khalid Airport is going to be part of King.
So it's just going to be attached to the King Salman Airport.
Of course, when you go to a huge airport like Heathrow Airport or New York Airport, there are many terminals.
Right.
And think about it, as the existing terminals, part of a usual bigger, larger airport.
Yes. Okay, gotcha. So that's the one that excites you.
It doesn't because imagine
you like traveling a lot. That's why you want.
I do.
Okay.
I do. And imagine today we're having on total terminal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And total number of gates. I don't know the numbers exactly, but imagine that we're having 60 or 70 gates at the maximum.
Right.
And we're going to triple this into 160 gates in the new airport.
Ooh, yeah, that's huge.
It is.
Yeah.
2 runways today.
Yeah.
And King Khalid Airport, we're going to have 6
runways.
6 runways.
And it makes sense. It goes back to the urban planning, right?
Yes.
If we're going to have all these people come to Saudi, then we need to have an airport that can handle this number.
Exactly.
And make sure it's an enjoyable experience and people are not running late to their destination. So it's all part of that planning that you're talking about.
And that will also help a lot in making Riyadh as a hub for logistic, for transportation, not for just the region, for the whole world.
Right, to the whole world.
Yeah. Connecting south to north, east to west.
Yeah.
With at the moment we have 4 airline companies or Saudi's companies, but in the future maybe we'll have more. There is a room for.
Yeah, Riyadh Airline is going to be starting soon. I'm sure we'll have, if we're going to have a big airport like this, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more people that want to start airlines.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, I can see why you're excited about it now.
Yes.
I got excited just talking about it with you.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go back a little bit. So for years, we depended on oil. Why is that not an option for us anymore?
It's not because it's not option, because everything in the world has a limit. When you have a resource that has a limit and has a ceiling, and that's it. You have to live to that ceiling, and you have to think, okay, when this quantity of, being it oil or being it water or whatever natural resources is going to end up, what are you going to do? And you don't wait to that period of time. You do this plan 20 years ahead. So you are building the infrastructure, the industry, the commerce, the economic of the whole country. So when you are to that day of the future, you are ready for it.
Okay.
So
we're anticipating a time when we're no longer going to need it, or it's just going to run out, or the people doesn't need it anymore. We're anticipating something like that happening.
It's a natural resources, the number is there. What is the oil reserve in Saudi? The number is there.
That's it.
It's stated by Aramco.
Yeah.
But we, alhamdulillah, from Allah, we are privileged to have mineral resources, huge mineral resources. The government and the country now is developing, and the industry is growing very fast in the mineral sector. We're having the tourism, we're having Mecca and Medina. There's only Mecca and Medina in the world. There is no other second Mecca or second Medina. Our location with the Red Sea, with the Arabian Gulf, and also the natural resources of the sun. This is a huge opportunity to get solar energy from the sun to not just for Saudi, is to sell it to the rest of the world.
Is our solar power unique than the rest of the world?
Yes, it is.
Because of where our location is?
Because we have the highest average number of sun hours, sunshine hours.
I see.
That will give us, advantage from other countries,
who
they have summer like what we have, but because of the rain, they have less number of sunshine hours.
We have like 4 or 5 months, at least in Riyadh, where it's just a lot of sunshine.
Exactly.
No rain, no clouds.
Yes.
Other countries don't have that consistency. Like Europe, for example, it rains the whole time, most of the year, so they don't get that consistent sunlight.
Yes, and this is natural resources that we can benefit today and for the future. And as I think you have read that is by the year 2030 or 35, I'm not quite sure, the government announced that we need to have 35% of our energy consumption coming from natural energy and renewable energy.
35%.
Green energy.
Yeah,
yes.
5%. Okay.
35%.
What is it now? Do you know?
I don't know, but we're advancing.
We're getting there. Okay.
Yes, we're getting there.
So
and you can see lots of solar farms.
Yeah, I see them.
All over the country.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that our solar energy is more. We have a competitive advantage because of where we are, and that gives us an edge over other countries. Okay, that's good to know.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mention that we have also the material, the silica, the material that is the most important component for manufacturing solar panel in Saudi. And with the help of big companies like the Chinese companies, we are building the huge factories for solar panels, not just for our use, but also for export.
For exports. Okay, gotcha. Now, so it's important to get into entertainment and tourism. This is not just something for fun. This is for our survival, because, like you said, oil is a finite thing. It's gonna run out one day. So getting into this entertainment industry and this tourism industry is going to be vital for our survival later on. But we're kind of doing it now before we get to a position where now we're in trouble. We don't have anything to export. We don't. So these plans are in place now for survival, basically. Yeah,
that's correct. Yes.
Okay. You mentioned earlier that when you first started out in tourism, part of it was to establish tourism for the Saudis first. So before this, where were Saudis going for tourism?
Usually they would go for domestic, limited domestic destination like Jeddah or Abha, but in a modest numbers. And most of the people used to travel abroad for their tourist and entertainment. Uh, all destination around the world, no specific destinations.
Right. And that was a lot of money that was spent elsewhere that hurt our own economy.
It does. A huge amount of money going to spend overseas.
Yeah.
And on the other direction, very limited number of people coming to Saudi as a tourist to spend money here. Only people coming to Mecca and Jeddah. But for
That's it, yeah.
yes,
Nobody's going to Riyadh or Abha or like maybe some Abha, yeah. Because of the weather.
yes. And now when you compare today
Yeah.
with the Qiddiya, for example, with the Diriyah, for example, with the Amala and Niyum, and let's talk about Awra al-Ula. Let's talk about international tourism coming as a pure tourist, not a business, but a pure tourist.
Yeah.
There's a quite huge difference
Yeah.
between when we were maybe 15 years ago and where we are today.
Yeah, nobody right now, if you have a family and you want to go on a vacation, you don't have to go outside anymore. There's so many options for you
That's
here. And 10 years ago, I don't think people, some people want to stay in Saudi, but there's nothing to do maybe before. Now, I have 10 things I can do before I think about going to Europe or going to a different country. So it's good for us that we're keeping the money in-house. We're not go ahead and giving it to other countries. I mean, sometimes you want to leave Saudi and change your atmosphere. I get that. But some people just want to have a weekend, like Friday, Saturday. I don't want to go to Europe for 2 days.
Yes.
So you can just go and experience Qiddiya or other countries, and that boosts the economy. And it's just this good revolving door.
Yes. And not just Abdulaziz doing it. We are doing it to a limit, to a ceiling that never been done before. I don't want to sound very exaggerated, but look at Qiddiya with the Six Flag, 3 world record with the three with these 3 rides. We're talking about the largest entertainment city in the world, with being Al-Qiddiya. Diriyah itself is going to be a huge hub, a huge destination for culture tourism. When it's going to happen, when it's going to finish the whole plan and development. Look at Amala and the Red Sea. Sometimes you build a hotel, not just a hotel. You are building a dream. You are building a vision that people, when they see the photo, when they see the video, they will, they would love to. They can spend lots of money just to be there. To live the experience of living on a shell, in a shell on the sea, with that panorama, and you take the photos and you take Sylvie and
the experience.
It's the experience. It's the unique experience. It's the only location that looks like this.
Yeah, I know.
There is no other hotel looks like that.
When I see that, I can't believe this is Hina. I can't believe it's here. It looks like somewhere else.
And the Rock Hotel, the hotel that is inside the mountain.
Yeah.
And the swimming pool, and you have the panoramic view from the pool to the rest of the mountain.
So unique.
There is no other location like this, and this is really where is the international elite tourists looking for. They want to live an experience that is no other place can give you this 1 day, 3 days experience. And that's where you start selling yourself and you position yourself in the tourism map and the global destination tourism.
Right, exactly, yeah. I get very excited when I do see these kind of projects, like the whole hotel in the mountain, or these little small houses on the water, and Qiddiya. All these giga projects are so unique and different. how does the idea happen? The ideation process. How do they come up with the idea? And then what are the criterias to get the green light to do it?
Uh, I'm not quite familiar with the answer to this question, but being an architect, I can imagine that when you have a vision like this, you do a competition between iconic architect designers
Okay.
to come up with ideas how we can develop this hotel. For example, let's take the Rock Hotel. Okay, each architect or each designer would come with a concept and draw this concept and put it in the competition event, and then the decision maker they can review and pick really the one that is achieve their dream, achieve their goal, and take it further into more development, to develop it more, and then into construction, and then operation.
So it's just a competition. So these architect companies, so Saudi, for example, goes to these companies and say, hey, we want some hotels on the water. Send us your best designs. And then the winner, we work with them.
Yes, the concept is not far from what you say, but it's more details into it. For example, it's a competition that to a limited number of carefully selected architect or designer, because they are known of their background, of their previous work that is into that field, into that waterfront hotel or rock art hotel. And then you do this, you give them the brief and they do the design, the concept design.
Right.
And they come for the show, and then you start, maybe sometimes you marriage two concepts to get, because there is good aspect here and a very good aspect there. I don't want to miss one of them. You want to merge
Maybe
them.
combine the two ideas if they're really
Exactly.
good.
Yes.
Okay, guys.
Sometimes you do that.
Interesting. Okay. That makes sense. I wanted to talk to you about Neum. If I'm honest with you, I still don't know what Neum is. For those who don't know, can you explain to us what Neum is, and then what does success look like for Neum?
Okay. I'm not very familiar, but
you too.
yes, I didn't have the chance to work there
too much. Okay.
Yes,
That's
but yes, I read in the news what you read in the news,
Yeah.
Aziz, so I'm sorry not to.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Let's move on to a different one. Diriyah.
Okay.
What is Diriyah? What is Diriyah? What's the goal for Diriyah? What does success look like for it?
Okay. When you want to put Riyadh, to make things simple, when you want to put Riyadh on the world map as a city, as a global destination for tourism and for a global economy. Now, Saudi is one of the top 20 economy in the world, and Riyadh reflect this as being the capital and the hub of economical development, cultural development. So you look, what are the resources you have? It happens that one of the resources is the old capital of Saudi Arabia. That goes back more than 300 years, with a rich history, with a rich location, the valley, the desert, the mountain, the culture, the historical events that went to their building the Saudi dynasty, first dynasty. And the vision came from that resource, that history. How can we develop this? So we need to develop it into a culture center, not entertainment, because entertainment can be another location like Qiddiya. Yes, because the history is there. The unique also landscape of the farm, the desert oasis is there. And the economy of Riyadh, just next door, you develop that, you can see that there is opportunity now to make it Diriyah is a huge culture tourism destination built on the Saudi culture, the Saudi history, the Saudi way of dressing, eating, entertaining, the agriculture,
Right.
how food is grown, cultivated, cooked.
Yeah.
The concept from the farm to the table.
Right.
And all this, you can say, okay, what can be added to make Diriyah not just for the Saudi or for the region, for the globe.
Right.
You can say that I want to build the most unique boutique hotel that built into the Saudi culture or heritage or the Arab heritage, if you want to take it to the wider
Right.
aspect. And you start from there. Of course, we have the opera now. The Saudi opera is going to be
Opera,
part,
yeah. Mhm.
yes, part of the Diriyah concept. King Saud University being the oldest university, the first university in Saudi, is also part of that vision.
Oh wow.
You give it to other components to
So
make
is it like a small city almost?
it is a small
Like a
city.
Small
that-
city. It has a university.
Yes.
It's gonna have an opera. It has hotels.
Yes.
But it's strictly about our Saudi heritage.
Yes.
Very old school, very original, how we used to live.
Yes.
And so somebody who comes to Saudi from outside and wants to know how Saudis used to live, go to Diriyah.
Yes. Because we're going to have maybe 10 or 20 museum also in Diriyah.
Okay.
Different type of museum to reflect what you said, Abdulaziz. But not just history, even the culture, take different forms with time. Today, with this, of course, like Saudi, but it's not like 100 years ago.
No.
It's different.
Different.
Maybe after 20 years, also this type of
This goes to Diriyah.
is going to change, yes, and goes to Diriyah. Yes, that's why, opera. Why opera and Diriyah? Because it's the Saudi culture
Yeah.
with the modern, with the globe. How can we mix this
Right.
to make it unique?
Right.
But there is root.
Yeah.
There is characteristic. There is enthusiasm into this.
Yeah. What I love about it too is that it won't allow us to forget who we are.
Yes.
By having the Diriyah there, any day of the week I can go and visit. I remember who we used to be, how we used to dress, what did my grandfathers used to eat. So it really keeps me proud of being Saudi because we're going to modernize. We're trying to modernize, but it's okay to modernize, but it's not okay to forget who you are, to forget your history. And if we have Diriyah there, always there available, I can always remember where I came from.
Yeah, that's good.
And I love that it's going to keep us grounded into our roots.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the one I'm excited about.
Yes.
For me.
Look at the Japanese. They are into modernism. They are into the most advanced technology.
Right.
But still, they eat differently. They don't forget how they used to dress.
Yeah.
Sometimes they dress in the Japanese style.
Their houses are still kind of designed that way.
Even the landscape.
Yeah.
We call it Japanese landscape. And there is no harm or no negative in that. It's a wall.
Yeah.
And if every location is going to look the same, that's really very boring.
Yeah.
And why should I forget, as you said, how I used to, or my history or my culture?
Yeah.
Why should I hide of it?
Right. Exactly.
We are one word, but different culture, different stories, different histories.
Yeah.
But in the end, we share this.
And it's going to be good for like kids right now, like your son Faris. I don't know if he's ever been to a place like Diriyah before. And he's going to be able to see like, oh, that's how you used to live, Dad.
Yes.
So his generation hasn't really, like I used to go to the Diriyah and I used to know how my dad used to live. So I'm still a little bit in touch with who we used to be. But this next generation coming up, I don't know if they've been able to like see the old Saudi and how we used to be. So the Diriyah will give them a chance to see how we used to live. And that'll just build up their pride into being Saudi and their patriotism.
Yes, thank you, Abdulaziz.
I think that
To give them the pride and also to help them to appreciate what you had, what your old generation had.
Yeah.
And look, we didn't forget it or throw it away. No, we built on it.
Right.
We took it.
Right.
We absorbed it. we give it some building like Treif, we preserve it as it is, but the other part, like El Bijeri, we developed it. We give it to another face. We give it a different blend and come up with modern food, modern electricity, but it's a Saudi.
That's Saudi.
Yes, it's from Diriyah. It's not from Jeddah, for example, or from Geneva or wherever.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's the one product I can't wait for it to be complete. You're currently on the board of Ardara. Can you tell us what is Ardara? What is their goal?
Okay. Abha city used to be a city with 7 old quarters and a river, a small river that runs all year round.
There's going to be a river in the middle.
No, I'm talking about how was Abha 70 years ago.
Oh, okay. This is okay.
Yes, 7 neighborhoods, traditional villages.
Okay.
And a valley that has constant water all year round. Beautiful mountains, beautiful valley, farms. People build their houses from the local stones with a local architecture that is stand out. And with development, with the modernization, road cames, modern building, modern shopping, schools, and some of these, and we'll on the way of this modernization, we lost some part of that, if you like, the identity of Abha, what Abha is.
Right.
Yes. So Ardara came to that concept, is how can we bring back Abha and give it the heart, which was the river, and redevelop it into a character related to Abha city 60 or 100 years ago, but with a more comprehensive urban development plan and a master plan that make you as a tourist when come or a visitor coming to Abha to experience how you can grow food from that small farm to that small restaurant with that local recipe, with that local chef into a traditional dish or modernized dish, and you enjoy the handicraft. Al-Asir is very, very rich of handicraft, very rich in local decoration, interior or being it interior or external. Also the dance, the folklore, the Asiri, the way they dress, the way they put the herbal plants on the head. It's quite
such a unique look.
It's a
You don't find that anywhere.
Yes, exactly. Not even in Saudi, it's different.
Yeah.
Abha is totally with this content is totally different from Tabuk, where I came from, or the Eastern.
Yeah.
Of course, in Tabuk we have different things, or the Eastern province we have different things, but still, that is unique. That is unique, and Abha is unique, and Asiri is unique, and this is the main goal: how to make Abha city, or the artery of the Wadi Abha, to redevelop it again into a world-class destination with reflecting the history, the culture of Asiri and Abha into a world-class location.
Wow.
When you visit, you can enjoy it. You can have different experience. No, you don't have it any other location in the world.
Yeah, it's almost like Diriyah, but for Junub.
That's correct.
It's almost like that. We're trying to bring back the identity of Abha.
Exactly. And guess what?
Yeah.
In summertime, when all over the Middle East, the temperature is between 30 and 40 and sometimes 50.
Everyone go to Abha.
Abha is in the 20s.
Beautiful.
22 in August. And guess what? Almost every day from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, there is rain.
Yeah.
Or there's cloud coming, facing you. Imagine this in August, every day.
I know.
Just tell me, where is this?
You don't have it anywhere, especially like because you're in Riyadh right now in August. You don't want to be outside, but 10 hours away,
Exactly,
it's raining and they're walking outside with shorts.
Yes,
And so that's such an area that you really we need to take care of.
that's true.
You know, the whole world wants to have a beautiful summer with great weather. I was in California. California, the reason why it's so expensive is because it has great weather. We have that right here. So I love that Ardara is realizing that and investing everything they can to make sure that it's a world-class place to be.
Yes,
But we're not going to modernize Abha. We're going to bring back the identity. I'm sure we're going to modernize some things, but when you go to Abha, oh, this is different.
exactly.
This is not like Tabuk. This is not like Sharqiyya. This is different.
This is Abha.
This is Abha.
Yeah, this is what Abha.
There's a river going back and forth the whole
Yes.
time.
And as I use the word, with a bride. This is Abha with a bride.
Right.
This is Abha with a history. This is Abha with a root. This is Abha where I can live an experience that is mixed the history, the culture with modernity. And in the end of the day, when I finish my trip and go back to Riyadh or Tabuk or whatever, I always talk about it. I am very happy that I spent these days, and I was a dream of going there again and asking other people to go there, enjoy this unique experience.
Yeah. That's another one that I can't wait for
Inshallah.
to happen. See,
Very soon.
everywhere I look,
Very
there's
soon.
something to be excited about.
Yes, very
Love
soon.
it, inshallah.
Very soon.
So it's beautiful. We have Qiddiya, we have Ardara, Diriyah, all these amazing projects coming. But I'm sure there's some challenges that comes with them. Is there a common challenge that they all have? I'm sure they all have unique challenges, but is there a common challenges between all of them?
Let's make things simple.
Okay.
When the whole country growing, so there is a pressure on the infrastructure, being it electricity, road, airport, airlines. So this is not easy a challenge. So you need to build, for example, a new airport in Abha.
Right.
Because the old airport was not designed for this volume of people and number of visitors. The road network, even electricity resources or water resources, all these you have to take into account. Even simple things like the number of people, young generation needed to work in these new business, like a hotel or a restaurant, because you need to train them. You need to train them well before. When you are a 5-class hotel, a world-class hotel or destination, hospitality, you need the human resources that work in that hotel into the same level of quality.
Yeah.
And this means not just 6-month training or educating. It's much more than this. It's learning the experience. It's learning the skills of professional.
And they need to be local people, right? Like, I think, is that important?
It is.
That we hire local people so they understand the area. And
it is because the local people would love would stand up to the challenge, because they feel this is their
they want to represent their home.
Yes. And and since they are proud of it, they have the passion to give it to the best quality it should be.
Okay, gotcha.
And this need time and the resources and experience, world-class teachers, if you like. And you cannot develop it just like this. That's why it needs build up. And when you say it's challenge, this is one of the challenges. And that's why the ASDA, which is Asir Development Authority, is now with the world-class tourism school, is building a unique tourism school and college to take this, to meet the challenge.
Okay. So we're creating a university specific to
Yes.
teaching the locals, bringing up to the standard that we want them to be in.
Yes, to give them the skills.
The skills, yeah.
Yes, the education that need to,
Right.
and then they will deliver and achieve the goal that you want.
Right, yeah. Because it's definitely like you can see that you can put a lot of money into something and build the nicest hotels and the most advanced technology. But if the people who are working there, if their standards are not up to that level that you want them to be, then there's a mismatch.
Thank you.
You know? So I think, sometimes you have to like treat
Thank you.
the human capital the same as the structure itself. And
Yes.
okay, gotcha.
And also another aspect of this, Abdulaziz, now imagine you're talking about a certain boutique hotel reflecting the Asiri culture. If you don't develop the people, the young generation into this quality of service, you cannot import it.
Yeah.
You cannot say this is Abha hotel or Asiri hotel and bring any other, service.
Anyway, nationality or culture doesn't work.
From other culture.
Yeah.
There's mismatch. And if you come there, you see, oh, there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
So that's why it has to be.
That's true.
It has to be
That's
a
the
Saudi
challenge for
Asiri.
sure. Yeah. And like you said, 6 months is not enough. Like this needs to be a career for somebody.
Exactly. And you take it step by step. Yes.
Yeah.
If that is your destination, you need to have to give it the right time,
Yeah.
the right effort. It deserves
Yeah.
to be able to reach it.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah, that can be a challenge for sure.
Yes.
Another challenge, I'm sure, is these projects are expensive, of course. One thing I'm worried about, and this is a reason why I left the United States, is income tax. My worry is that could we ever get to a point where in order for us to continue to fund these projects, we might have to implement an income tax on Saudi citizens? Is that ever a possibility?
I don't think so. Because, yes, what we hear from our leadership is that this will never ever happen in the future.
Okay.
And inshallah, we don't need it because we are maintaining our speed of development without needing to put this income tax.
Okay.
I don't think we will get to that situation.
I think everybody's happy to hear that answer.
Yes, yes.
In 10 years from now, could you see Riyadh beating Dubai as a top travel destination?
To be honest with you, Abdulaziz, Dubai will be always Dubai. Riyadh will be always Riyadh. Doha will be always Doha. Each city with
There's no like friendly competition between these cities.
Let's say that Riyadh is developing into a more unique form that is different from Dubai or Doha. That's going to be after 10 years. Your building, my building, we're almost done with it. With Al Qiddiya to be the world largest entertainment destination that nobody's going to beat with it for the next 10 years. Adding a picture of Expo, the FIFA World Cup 30, the area, King Salman Airport, that will make Riyadh never like Dubai or Dubai never like Riyadh.
So they're all going to have their own unique strengths.
Definitely. But
Gotcha.
For sure, Riyadh is going to develop much larger and faster than what is Dubai now or what's going to be Dubai in 10 years. In terms, for example, the number of tourists that is visiting Riyadh compared to the tourists visiting Doha, or the specific development like the entertainment or the culture with the Diriyah and background. This, yes, Riyadh will be unique, not just in the Gulf, but in the global.
Gotcha.
And we say this really, Abdulaziz, with confidence.
Right.
Because it's not just a dream on the paper, on the wall. This is a dream that has been on the way. And for example, Al-Qiddiya, I'll always come back to Al-Qiddiya because it's something I feel very proud of it. Yes.
Yeah.
It's entertainment city, world and largest entertainment city And Six Flags has been open and operated December last year.
Aqua Arabia right now.
Aqua Arabia right now.
Mm.
So it's not. It's a destination that is in the middle of the way to be delivered.
Yeah, and I think also sometimes we forget our unique geography. If you go north, we have the ice up there, and I think they're gonna construct an ice
Trojena.
Yeah. That's north.
That's not.
South, you have Ardara, and we're up there doing. Riyadh is Riyadh, and it has Diriyah. So I think our competitive advantage is how we're one country, but we're 5 or 6 different areas.
That's cool.
All with their unique
Exactly.
DNA.
Yes.
And identity.
Yes.
And I think not a lot of countries can say that.
That's correct. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's what will make Saudi is unique, not just for the world, for us, even Saudis.
Yeah.
Because you sometimes when you visit a country, there is only one city that is stand out.
Yeah.
But here, as you mentioned, 5 destinations within the same country.
In the same country, yeah.
And also the other destination that is on the way, Amala, for example, Al-Ura, for example, Jeddah, for example, and Jeddah, all Jeddah al-Balad
Right.
is a World Heritage UNESCO site. So even the Eastern Province, Al-Hassa, for example, also another World Heritage site. The Empty Quarter, Mahmiyat, in the south. Also, it's a World Heritage site, being part of the largest location of desert sand in the world. All these built up into a country with multi-destination within the country, not just for the foreigner to when they visit. There is plenty of places to go. Even for us as a Saudi, there is plenty of places to go.
Yeah.
Not even mentioning, Farasan Islands,
Right.
which is very unique. Mentioning Hail with the culture, with the heritage, Al Qasim with the farm agriculture, etc.
Yeah. And they're all like a few hours away
Exactly.
from each other too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. One thing that I was really proud about from Saudi is their firmness to not allow alcohol into the country, especially for the World Cup. But I wonder, did that decision affect us in how many tourists are coming to Saudi? Has that had any impact at all?
I don't think so, because let me imagine that even if you are a tourist that you are used to drink alcoholics, I don't think this tourist is drinking alcoholic every day. I'm sure he's drinking this alcoholics for certain days of the week or certain days of the month.
Yeah.
So imagine that you are on the off days from drinking alcoholics. You're coming here to visit Saudi and enjoy it. And when you go back, you can go back to your routine or habit.
Yeah. But I said this specifically the World Cup because the World Cup is a sporting event. And the majority of the world are used to watching sports while consuming alcohol. We're going to be, I think, the first country who doesn't allow it. So I was just wondering if that decision is going to maybe affect how many people go to the World Cup. But maybe it's too early to tell.
It's too early to tell, and I don't think, because
I think families will come more. Right?
Sure.
Like if families know, if you have a wife and kids and you know that the sporting event won't have alcohol, that makes you feel safer to come.
Yes. And from my point of view, Abdulaziz, you are here, for example, today, when you attend a football match for Al-Nasr, your goal is to see Ronaldo and enjoy Al-Nasr and Ronaldo playing, or for the beer. If this is your goal, this is a minority. This is secondary issue that will not affect the enjoyment.
You still want to see Ronaldo play.
Because this is your main objective. So your main goal is really to attend the football FIFA World Cup. This is your goal. There is
You
not.
want to go see your team play and cheer your national team play. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And like you said, I think it's too early to tell. We all know, but I just think that by doing this, we're gonna attract a different type of fan. We're gonna attract the families. You know, that maybe a lot of families don't like to take their kids to these soccer matches because there's a lot of people that consume alcohol and it's not a safe place for your family. But Saudi says, "Oh, we're not gonna have that." So now it's like, okay, let's take my kids to there because I'm gonna feel more safer there.
Yes, this is
When
one.
we're attracting a different type of fan, that should probably better.
Yes, and we are seeing this today in the stadium of football. For example, the last match between Al Ahly and the Japanese, and where Ahly won the Asian Cup. We have seen the families, the father with the daughter, the father with the wife, with the kids, all together enjoying the match.
And
Peacefully.
they don't have to worry about any incidents or
That's correct. Yes.
any bad people acting funny or whatever. Okay, that makes sense. One of the projects that I was kind of excited about, but I don't know if they're gonna continue doing it, is the new Murabba.
Okay.
What I liked about it is that it was gonna give Riyadh a downtown, and the beautiful thing about downtowns is if you travel to a new country and what you want to do is you want to explore on your foot. You want to walk around and breathe the air and experience that new city that you're in. The new Murabba was going to be that downtown for Riyadh. Because as of right now, I don't know if Riyadh is a pedestrian kind of city when you're walking around. Besides the new Murabba, are there plans in Riyadh to make it more pedestrian friendly?
Oh yes, there is lots of initiative. Some of them has been finished, and you can enjoy it. For example, now if you go to Qasr al-Hukm, the old Riyadh center, and you can see all the area there. You can go on foot from one location to another.
Okay.
You can join Al Masmak, Al-Dahu, all they have been redeveloped and maintained in a local architecture, Najdi architecture, beautifully designed. Even my son Faris, when last time we were there in Dahu, we enjoyed it a lot. All the distance, you can walk from one location to another.
Okay.
You can see restaurant, cafes, shops, different type of shops. Area where you just sit down and enjoy the people and the kids playing around beautifully. It's really very nice. And even last week, Abdulaziz, I was visiting a friend in a modern neighborhood called Al-Wurud. It's in the middle of North Riyadh.
Gotcha.
And it's maybe 30 years or 20 years old neighborhood, but it was redeveloped into a pedestrian humanization of the street, where you can walk all around the neighborhood, 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers, and the cafes, restaurant.
And this is inside of a neighborhood?
Inside of neighborhoods. I was really very happy to see that.
That's fun. Yeah.
I wish sometimes in your programs you can play videos for locations and you can comment on it. And really, please try to visit Al-Wurud.
Yeah.
I was really surprised.
Wow.
I was really
So
surprised.
why can't we maybe make Riyadh all of it like that? Not all of it, of course, but more than one location.
Yes.
You know,
That's what's happening in 2 projects. Sport Boulevard.
Sport Boulevard is really good.
Yes, and Green Riyadh. Now, these are developing Riyadh into what you just said.
Okay.
A greenery, a human scale, a human environmental, where you can walk, play, enjoy, with limited intervention with car and road.
Yeah.
And you can visit some parts where they finish Green Riyadh or
King Salman Park, I think.
And King Salman Park is to build a city park.
That's a city park.
A city park.
That's all walking around.
Yes.
There's no cars there.
Exactly. But the Sport Boulevard, which is partially finished now, it's a unique location.
I go there every week. I love it.
Unique.
Beautiful walk. You can go run. It's only partially done?
Yes.
Wow.
because it is only 2 kilometers out of maybe 30 kilometers.
Wow.
Yes,
Amazing.
it
Okay.
is a huge.
All right, cool. So,
it's a huge
so
project.
this is what Riyadh is going to turn into.
Yes,
A very, very pedestrian kind of city.
it is.
Gotcha.
It is, and not just a pedestrian. Since you have mentioned Sport Boulevard,
Yeah.
I'm sure you have seen the design, the landscape, the use of plantation, the use of the stone, the water, the fountain.
Yeah. Well, they have
Well,
bike lanes too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
But this is something that the city of Riyadh is aware of, and they are actively working to turn Riyadh into, at least a lot of it, a pedestrian-friendly kind of city where people that visit Riyadh, they don't have to be in a car all day.
that's
They
right.
can get out on their feet, go to the Wurud, go to King Salman Park, Old Riyadh. So there's these destinations that you can just go and explore this.
Yes.
It's just so much fun when you travel. Like when I travel, I don't like to be in the car.
Okay.
I just want to go walk around the city.
Yes.
And I
Me too.
yeah. And so I think Riyadh needs that, but it's getting there.
It
It's
is.
just, but it's just
It is
in place.
It is. You can. I can assume that we finish phase 1 or phase 2
Okay.
with this project, the Sport Boulevard. Even the neighborhood parks that has been finished and some under construction. Yes, but all this, قصر المربع, قصر الحكم, الدرعية, where all these locations now you go there, you forget the car, and you start walking, enjoying Wadi Hanifa.
Wadi Haifa is good, yeah.
It is there today, and the coming is more, but we are living it. That's what I want to say. It's not just a dream or a drawing on the board.
Yeah.
We're seeing it.
We're seeing it now. Yeah. Okay. So of course, with all these investments and all these projects that we're doing, it's going to bring a lot of financial return to the country as well. But I wanted to know on a more deeper level, what is the social ROI going to be? What is the social return on investment that's going to bring to the Saudi people? All these goals and accomplishments, all these things that we're building, what's that going to give us as people on a deeper level?
There is many perspective to this. Let's take the perspective, since we are talking the social dimension, Aziz. It give you the chance to have a job opportunity within your community. We're talking about Saudi, and we said, for example, from our discussion, Al-Ula. We mentioned Al-Ula. Al-Ula, it's a World Heritage Site where it used to be a village, a small village of 10,000 inhabitants. Now is going to be changed or start to be changed, a world destination, as a culture, as a destination, as a history, and a location that where civilization used to live 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. But you give a chance to the local community to stay there and get prosperity of this traffic, of this industry, of this change, by job opportunity, by business opportunity to them, by education, by exchanging and seeing the whole world from the people coming to them, and self what's the word, self confidence and self happy, proud.
Right.
The people coming to see what I have. This is really one of the aspects of cultural dimension, the development of cultural dimension. The other is the opportunity of more education, opportunity for a higher and specific and specialized education. Without this tourism development in Al-Ula, they wouldn't have. It will be just like any other village in Saudi.
Yeah.
They will have education, of course, but to the common level. But there, they are having more education and training to a different level, to maybe a world-class heritage UNESCO site.
Right.
And this is an opportunity to them.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with you. And for me personally, You know, I moved back 2 years ago from the United States, and I lived there for 20 years. So I missed a lot of what happened to Saudi, which is why the show is called What Did I Miss? Um, but man, I feel so much more pride seeing what everyone has built. And it just makes me now want to build. I want to contribute to Saudi so much because of what everyone else did. And the future looks so bright. Like, I'm excited to see what's happening, you know? And I think that's such a big return to the people is, yes, we're going to provide all these jobs and it's going to be good for the economy, but we're also excited for the future. So now people want to get married and people want to have kids because the future is so bright. And I think that's such a good thing to give the people. Give them that hope. And they will give you back in return everything you want.
That's good.
And a lot of countries, sadly, don't really give that to their citizens right now, which is why we see the decline in birth rates everywhere, because I don't think people are excited to what's coming. Or, of course, it's expensive too, and there's a lot of reasons, but here, we can see the light, you know, and it makes me want to run towards it, you know, and also help along the way. So that's the best return on investment. I think that what we're doing, that's the best return on investment, I think.
That's correct. That's correct.
To wrap up, Dr. Waleed, as we charge into this future, what do we need more of? What should kids be learning?
Believe on what you have. Trust that we are on the right track. Please, when you are in the school or in the university, give it the best shot you can. And when you go to the professionalism, please see yourself as one player of million players, and you want to give it the best shot you can, the best quality and the best work and type of work which make your institution, wherever you are, is going to be a unique institution, successful in the delivery of the objective, and then you're going to have a tremendous society, beautiful country, and self-happiness, self-comfort that will reflect in your house,
Right.
with your family, with the future of your kids as well,
Right.
because you manage to maintain a society and a country that is well established, solid, and have a future.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Dr. Waleed. This has been absolutely amazing. We really appreciate all this knowledge that you gave us today.
I'm very happy.
It's been an absolute honor.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Aziz. Thank you. Thanks a lot.